Hey everyone, and welcome to the PS Vita 2026 buying guide. And I get a lot of questions saying, hey, which one should I purchase? Should I purchase the 1000 or should I purchase the 2000? Or should I purchase a PlayStation TV, which no one really ever asks because it's non-mobile and you got to hook up a TV to the PlayStation TV, which I'm a big fan of. I love that console and I prefer that one because I'm just not on the go as much and I rather just stay home and play, and I love the big screen. But anyways, we're going to get into each one of these consoles. We're going to break down the details as far as the features go and going deeper into the aftermarket parts, which I think is very, very important to consider. Just because analogs, for example, on the PlayStation Vita 1000 are very expensive. They're going for like 30 to all the way up to like $60 a piece for each analog. And the PlayStation Vita 2000, the analogs go for like 10-15 bucks each. So we're going to break it down, take a look at all the different details to each one of these consoles and seeing which one is the best fit for you. Now this video is going to be very helpful for those who are looking to buy their first PlayStation Vita. I'm getting a ton of emails and comments saying, hey, which one should I get? So hopefully I can guide them into this video and they can make that decision for themselves. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's take a look at each one of these consoles and break it down briefly. First off is the PlayStation Vita 1000, the first model with a 5-inch OLED display, heavier, more premium, metal trim shell, proprietary charge ports, no built-in storage by default. The second model is the PlayStation Vita 2000, 20% thinner and about 15% lighter than the 1000. Switches to LCD, adds 1 GB of internal storage, better battery life, standard micro USB charging, more rounded and comfortable to hold. And finally, the PlayStation TV, also known as the PS Vita TV, a tiny micro console version of the Vita that hooks to your TV over HDMI, uses DualShock controllers, shares the same CPU GPU as the handheld, but lacks the touchscreen and the pad, so some Vita games just don't work. Now to clarify on some of the model numbers, all Vitas use the PCH model numbers. When people say Vita 1000 or Vita 1100, they're both from the OLED series. The PCH 1000 versus the PCH 1100 both have the same 5-inch OLED, same general design. The 1100 series is the 3G capable version sold with AT&T in some regions, with an extra SIM slot and slightly different board that modders can repurpose for SD mods. For a normal buyer in 2026, there's no practical difference in gameplay between a 1000 or 1100. It only really matters if you're doing deep hardware mods. So let's take a look at the pros and cons of the PlayStation Vita 1000. Let's start off with the pros. First off is the OLED screen. It has deeper blacks and more saturated colors than the 2000's LCD. Vita, PSP, and emulated games really pop on it. Next up, the build quality. Metal trim and a heavier body that a lot of people describe as feeling more premium in hand. And finally, the Hall effect analog sticks. 1000 series sticks use Hall sensors, which are more resistant to the drift than the 2000's potentiometer sticks. Moving on to cons, first off being the repair cost. So replacement OLEDs can get very pricey depending on what you're looking for. Pre-owned screens go for about $20 to $30, and new screens can go all the way up to $50 to $60 in parts. And that's just before labor costs, which could be another additional $70 to $100. Now the prices I just gave you is for the black screen. If you're looking for white, red, or blue, those are going to be a little bit more expensive. And the worst part on this PS Vita 1000 is the analog. Overseas, you're looking at $30 to $40 a piece. And locally, you're looking at $60 to $70 a piece. It's insane how expensive these analogs are nowadays. Next up is the awful proprietary charge port. This needs the original Vita charger or a specific cable, which is harder to replace than the standard micro USB. Now you can find aftermarket chargers for the PlayStation Vita 1000, but they tend not to work. I have come across so many of these different cables, non-OEM, that tend to not charge or break over time. And it's recommended to have the original PS Vita 1000 charger from Sony. And finally, we have no internal storage. Now this may be a deal breaker for some people, but if you are looking to jailbreak your system using a micro SD card adapter, you don't really have to worry about internal storage or a memory card. Now if you're not going to jailbreak your system and you're just going to completely use it as stock, you will need a proprietary memory card. These memory cards that Sony created for the PS Vita, they range from 4 GB all the way to the largest size of 64 GB. And these cards can fill up fairly quickly if you're looking to play different titles on the PS Vita. And not to mention, a 64 GB card can range from $60 all the way to $80, and a micro SD card 512 GB card can go for almost the same price. Before we go any further, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, and that's FiFine, who sent over some new audio gear for the channel at no cost so I could test it in this video. First up is the FiFine AmpliGame AM8 Prot microphone kit. It's a USB and XLR dynamic mic with a boom arm and RGB lighting, so you can plug straight into your PC or run it through a mixer as an upgrade for your setup. You get a tap to mute, a 3-in-1 dial for gain, headphone volume, and mix control, and real-time monitor right from the mic, which is perfect for streaming or recording without guessing at your levels. To go with that, FiFine also sent the AmpliGame SC8 audio mixer. It's built for gaming and streaming with an XLR mic input, USB-C connection, optical input from your console, onboard EQ modes, 7.1 surround, and dedicated controls so you can balance game, chat, and music on the fly. And finally, they included their L9 XLR cable, which is designed for clean, balanced signal and low interference. So if you're running the AM8 Prot into a mixer or interface, you're covered out of the box. Huge thanks to FiFine for supporting the channel and for helping me level up the audio on these PS Vita videos. Now let's move over to the PS Vita 2000, the slim model. Here are the pros, why the 2000 is the practical choice. First off, comfort. The 2000 is thinner, lighter, and has more rounded edges. If you're going to be playing for hours, this is the more comfortable system to hold. Second is the battery life. Because of more efficient design and the LCD, you generally get better battery life compared to the 1000. It's not night and day, but it is noticeable. Third, the charging. This one is huge for day-to-day use. The 2000 charges over standard micro USB. That means cheap cables, easy replacements, and you probably have already a ton of those cables lying around. And the fourth being the internal storage. The 2000 has a 1 gig of built-in storage. It's not a lot, but it lets you at least get started, install a small game, or set things up before you invest in a bigger card. Let's move on to the cons, where the 2000 compromises. The obvious downside is the screen. You're going from OLED to LCD. The colors aren't quite as rich, blacks aren't as deep, and if you put a 1000 and a 2000 side by side, you can absolutely see the difference. That said, on its own, the 2000 still looks good. Most people get used to it quickly, especially if they're not comparing them directly. The other thing is the analog sticks. The Slim uses the traditional potentiometer sticks, which can wear out and develop drift over time more easily than the 1000 sticks. Now let's talk about the third option, the PS Vita TV or the PlayStation TV. So here are the pros. The biggest advantage is couch gaming. If you want to experience the Vita library on a TV with a real controller and no handheld to hold, this is the way to do it. Second, durability in different sense. There's no handheld screen to crack, no handheld shell to drop. If a stick goes bad, you just replace the controller and not the system. Cons. Now here's the catch, compatibility. Not every Vita game works properly on the Vita TV. A lot of the Vita games rely on the touchscreen or the rear touchpad, and the TV just doesn't have that. Unfortunately, you'll have to use the custom settings of pressing down on L3 and R3 to use those touch settings. Some games were whitelisted, and some can be forced to run if you mod the system, but if you're staying staying stock, a chunk of the Vita library just isn't playable. The other downside is if you're thinking about capture and streaming, because of the HDCP and how the signal is handled, sometimes you need extra hardware like a specific HDMI splitter to capture the clean footage without issues. Alright, so now we're going to move on into looking to purchase these consoles. We're going to start off with the PS Vita 1000, and I recommend going on eBay because you can find some very legit sellers that do a wonderful job in taking care of these consoles, refurbishing them, etc. And there's going to be 4 different colors. There's going to be black, white, red, and blue. There are going to be several other variations that are very expensive, but I do not recommend getting one of those just because they're going to cost you over $300 for one of those rare variations, which we can take a look at here real quick. But as far as the PS Vita Black goes, that's going to be probably the cheapest one out of the 4 colors that I mentioned. You can see here you can buy one for $140 from Japan. Now looking at some other options like refurbished in the box or new or pre-owned, you're going to be looking at over $200 easy for one in a box. And you can see here a blue one. Beautiful blue console for $230 here local in the United States. And again, I'd go through eBay and just go sift through and see what kind of deals you can get yourself. There's always something new listed every single day. So the variations I mentioned would be like the Soul Sacrifice, the Hatsune Miku. These are going for some crazy money. These are those special premium edition, limited edition consoles with some crazy artwork. And there is the ultra rare silver, if you can find it. Here is 657. Man, I did not know there was a silver PS Vita 1000 until I started looking at the listings here, which is kind of fun. Now the PS Vita 2000 is gonna have a ton of variations. There's so many different colors. You can see here with the first listing, you got gray, you got blue, light blue, white, red, pink, yellowish color, black, and some other variations where you'll have like a pink front or a pink back right here, and like an orange with different faceplates. So there's a ton of different variations. Just go for one that makes sense for you, price, budget, things like that. Obviously, complete in the box, you're going to be paying well over $200, or here, $200, not bad. With taxes. Ton of beautiful colors for the PS Vita 2000, and they just made it more available, I guess. I'm not sure why they didn't do that for the 1000. And obviously you'll have your different variations or your limited edition variations like the Kentai collection. Very expensive, and all of these limited editions come from Japan, so they released these in Japan and they were not available in the US, so that's why they're so limited. That's why they're so expensive. This one is pretty nice. Comes with a little purse. And eBay is going to be your best bet on getting whatever you want. If you're looking for the Final Fantasy X X2 console, you can find it on there. And yeah, there's just a ton of options. Again, with this one, you'll be paying $150, $170 easy for a PS Vita 2000. And again, this seller just shows up everywhere. Lucky 8 Trading. They're one of the largest PS Vita sellers on eBay. Now let's move on to the PlayStation TV. Before, this console was being sold at Walmart for like $40-$60, someone mentioned to me years ago, and now they're getting pretty expensive. I mean, this thing doesn't even have a screen and it's going for $160. Probably doesn't even have a controller. This one, no controller, but these are just prices that people listed. Let's actually see what's sold. So here we just have the, well, this says complete, but it doesn't have the controller, sold for $190. And these are just getting rarer and rarer by the year. This was the first white one we've seen already. We've gone through several listings. The white one is pretty rare, along with the limited edition Gundam, which is the one I'm looking for. So let's keep looking here and see what we got. There's the white one, just the console only for $200. That's insane. You don't even get an adapter. This one comes with a nice controller, $250. And again, you'll probably not find a whole lot of these locally. They're just very rare. I doubt you'll find one locally. And I'm talking about the white version. If you do, that's a pretty rare find. As far as finding someone local, it's going to be very difficult. I have a hard time trying to find anything PS Vita related here locally. It just gets eaten up by resellers all the time, and I just can't seem to get my hands on more. I got very lucky with purchasing 3 PS Vita TVs for $300 or $350, something like that. And I have a full video on that if you want to check it out in the description down below. Now, the two main reasons as to why I recommend eBay is going to be, number one is eBay money back guarantee. So you either get your item that you ordered or you get your money back. Let's say this Heaven Sword PSV TV or PS Vita TV does not work. It arrives, it's great, it's brand new, but it doesn't turn on. I can just contact eBay and get a return label right away. Most of the time you can get a return label same day or within 24 hours, and you can ship the item back. As soon as it arrives to the seller, you'll get your full refund. And the second reason is that you'll find pretty much anything on eBay. That's one of the main reasons why I like purchasing off eBay, is because you can find so many quirky things and really awesome looking consoles, some custom stuff or whatever the case may be. And I've been selling on eBay for the last 15 years, so I know the ins and outs of this website for the most part, and I shop with confidence all the time. 95% of the time it's what they listed, and 5% of the time I'll have to return it because it's broken or it just wasn't described correctly. Now, the model I recommend purchasing 100% today would be the PCH-1100 model. That is the PlayStation Vita 1000 3G model. The main reason why is because you can actually take out the 3G module and change it out to a PS VSD module, which converts into extra storage, basically internal storage for your PlayStation Vita. Not only that, you would not be using an SD to Vita adapter, and you can play your physical copies if you start collecting games, and you'll have no issues playing your homebrews and having your physical copies playing at the same time. That is pretty awesome. Now let's bring this all together and make the decision easy. Now, if you're only going to buy one PS Vita in 2026 and you care about reliability, the ease of charging, battery life, the cost of repairs, I'd recommend the PS Vita 2000 Slim, 100%. Now, if you're a collector like I am, and you really care about having the best screen possible, obviously you want to go for the Vita 1000. Just nothing beats that beautiful OLED screen. And if you already have one of these handhelds and you're looking to get your second Vita and you want to get that big screen experience, I'd go for the PS Vita TV. I think that is such a great console, and it's just such a sleeper of a console that no one really cares about. I'd recommend getting one. It is such an amazing little micro console that you can just plug into your monitor or your TV and just start playing some of your favorite PSP and PS1 games right on the go. Alright, that's going to do it for my 2026 PS Vita buying guide. And let me know in the comment section what you guys think, which model you're using right now, if it's the 1000, 2000, or the Vita TV. And if you have all three like I do, which one is your favorite? And what repairs you have done already on your consoles, and what costs you have put into your PlayStation Vitas. I'd love to hear all of your experiences in the comment section down below, because it really helps me kind of shape out some new videos here on the channel, and it also helps other people who are interested in purchasing a PS Vita in 2026. If this video helped you out, please drop a like and consider subscribing for more content like this here on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy the beautiful B-roll, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.